If you're looking for a classic soft sugar cookie that's easy to make and doesn't require any chilling, this is the sugar cookie for you. Hi, I'm Lindsay from Life, Love, and Sugar, and today we're making classic sugar cookies. To get started, you're going to want to combine your dry ingredients. We've got all-purpose flour. We have baking soda, baking powder, and some salt. We're going to combine that and just set that aside until we're ready for it later. And then from there, we're going to start with our butter and sugar. We've got two kinds of sugar. We've got regular sugar and a little bit of brown sugar for some extra flavor. So you're going to want to add your butter to your mixer, your white sugar, and your brown sugar. So you're going to cream your butter and sugar together until it's light and fluffy. You will actually be able to see a change in the color and the texture of the butter and sugar. It will actually lighten and get creamy and fluffy. So I'll show you that at the end. So it'll take about 2 or 3 minutes to fully cream together. I like to scrape down the sides of the bowl once or twice just to make sure things are getting well incorporated. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a peek. I'm actually going to try and show you this a little more closely because if you're not used to creaming butter and sugar together, you may not be as familiar with what you're looking for. And usually you can kind of tell on your mixer blade a little bit because there will be some kind of butter and sugar left from before. So if you kind of look up here, it's got a very different texture and it's a little darker in color than what you see down here. It's lightened, it's come together more, it's got a creamy texture to it, and that is really what you're looking for. So when you see that, instead of this, you're ready to move on to the next step. So our next step is going to be to add our egg. We're going to go ahead and add our vanilla extract, and we're going to make sure this gets nicely combined. All right, so we've got a nice combined batter so far. So we're just going to add our dry ingredients. So we're going to stir this until it mostly comes together. It's going to be a little crumbly at first and then it'll start to come together. We're going to go ahead and stop it because again, we don't want to over mix it. And from here we'll take this off our mixer, take our bowl and our spatula, and we can just use that to make sure everything is well combined and comes together at the end and we're not over mixing anything. So things are pretty nicely combined. You've still got a little flour around the edges here, but it's pretty well combined. You don't have a lot of streaks of anything. It's really starting to come together to form kind of a more homogeneous dough, but we're just gonna kind of help it come together at the end here. Get some of that remaining dry ingredients off the side, give it a good stir. So there we've got our dough. It's a little sticky, but not too much, pretty thick. And from here, you don't even have to chill your cookie dough. We're ready to make our cookie dough balls. So to make your cookie dough balls, if you have a cookie scoop that you really like that's 1.5 tablespoons, you can totally use that. I personally have not ever found a cookie scoop that I love, so I just use my trusty old tablespoon. We're gonna make balls that are about 1.5 tablespoons in size. So I like to just make a bunch of balls of 1 tablespoon and set them aside. And then I'll eventually break some of those in half to get the 1/2 tablespoon and add them to the other balls. So once you have your tablespoons measured out, you're going to want to take some of those and break them in half and add those to your other balls so you've got a full 1.5 tablespoons for each ball. And you're going to take your cookie dough, roll it into a nice round ball. Roll it in your sugar and get it fully coated. It is a sugar cookie after all, so we might as well roll it in a little bit more sugar. And then put that on your cookie sheet. I like to line my cookie sheet with a silicone baking mat for non-stick purposes, and they also bake really nicely that way. But if you don't have one, you can also use parchment paper. You can continue shaping the balls with your fingers if you need to get them in a nice round form. And once you've got all your cookie dough on your cookie sheet, it's time to go in the oven. So now you'll just want to let your cookies cool for about 2 to 3 minutes until they settle a little bit, and then you can just use a spatula or something and transfer them to a cooling rack to finish cooling, but you don't want to do it too soon or they'll break apart. Cookies have cooled a little bit, but you will have noticed when they came out of the oven they were nice and puffy, and as they cool they're going to sink down a little bit and flatten out, so you don't need to worry about it. They're going to come out nice and soft and chewy. We're just going to give them a little bit longer to cool before we move them over. These make a great classic sugar cookie just on their own, or you can do something like add frosting to them. I personally love them plain, but you do you. These make a great cookie for any day of the week or at the holidays for your cookie platter. They'll be a hit even though they're nice and simple. They're classic. For the full recipe, head over to lifeloveandsugar.com. I'm Lindsay. See you soon.